Hi. So my question to start with is, why would you take the leap without a parachute? So taking the leap without some careful planning, your parachute, is like leaping from the top of a cliff without a safety net. Very dangerous and just not a very good idea. But this is actually how I went about starting my first business. Hopefully you'll find out a little bit about that. So, hello, Kerry-Ann. Hi, I'm Marianne from One Life to Flourish, and welcome to my series for those people dreaming of making the leap from their job into being a business owner. Now, today I am supposed to be having a special guest, Liz de Koning, but at the moment we're having a little bit of trouble with her turning up. So we'll see how we go. I may just have to wing it and just be the only person on, but we'll see what happens. So before we begin, I'm just going to do a little bit of some housekeeping. So if you know someone who is actually in the stage of dreaming about being a business owner, someone who's wanting to get out of their job, please invite them over to the broadcast. So you can do that by just clicking the arrow down below. Now, the other thing is that we are going live on other pages. So if you're wanting to be able to communicate with us, have us see your comments, then you need to click the link above to join us on My Time TV. So thanks for that. All right, so not sure that we've got some sound yet for my guest, so I'll get a little bit started. So hopefully she'll be able to join us as we go through. So basically, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background and a little bit about how I actually got into starting my business. Well, one of my businesses, let's put it that way. So basically, I am a teacher, and I've had many years as a teacher. And if you think about it, teaching is probably one of those jobs that is the furthest away from having a business that you could think about. Hi, Sammy Joe. So that's where I started. And along the way, it didn't take me too long before I started to get this desire to have my own business. I thought of different kinds of things to do and just didn't quite manage to get it happening. So the reason I wanted to have my own business was a range of things, but basically it came down to me wanting to help people in a different way and make a difference in a different way than being a teacher. So I tried looking at doing tutoring. So I had a little bit of a go at having a tutoring business, which was, of course, linked to education. So I was, able to do that quite well, but it wasn't very great financially or time-wise for that matter. So it took a lot of time after work and it didn't earn a lot of money, so it wasn't really viable. Now, the business that I had the least success with and the one that I've learned the most from was actually the one that I was most passionate about, and that was having a natural therapies business, particularly massage therapy. I was a remedial and oriental massage therapist, and I loved doing that. And I planned sort of how to actually start my business. I got lots of skills. I knew my stuff. I even had some clients on the side. And I reached the point where I thought, yep, I'm ready to go. Now, at that time, I was given no option from my job as a teacher. I either had to be a full-time teacher or not be a teacher at all. So I had to resign, go out and just start my business from scratch. I thought I was ready, but I was not in any way ready at all. So uh, this was my jumping off the cliff without any kind of parachute. I had no idea of how to actually run a business, even though I knew my stuff in terms of, body therapies. And it was a really difficult thing. And eventually it was a big failure. I basically had to get out of it before I went bankrupt. So I've now created a new business, one that I am equally passionate about because it probably does similar sorts of things. So I am basically a neuro-linguistic programming coach and practitioner and a Reiki healer. And I love what I do. And I can help people in so many different ways. But my particular passion, as you can tell, is actually helping people to be ready to start their own business. So that's kind of where my passion has led me. And I do lots of work with different people on building their confidence, getting rid of limiting beliefs that they might have, all kinds of problems that can get in their way of actually starting their own business. And the reason for that is because I had quite a few different beliefs that I struggled with starting my business. Now, I'm just going to see if we've got sound from Liz at this point. We may or may not, so just let us know if you can hear her or not.
Can you hear me?
Let's see if we've got some sound.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. That's
yes.
Good. Yes. hopefully everyone can hear you. All right. So I'm just going to welcome you now to the show. So this is Liz de Koning, and she is actually just starting out on her journey of making the leap from being a frustrated employee, I would say, to being a full-time business owner. So because she's partway on the journey, we decided that we'd introduce her so that you could get to know a little bit about her business. And I've put up in the links and the comments how you can actually connect with her on Facebook. And today she's had some really exciting news because she has got her qualification to work as is it a crystal shaman? Is that what
that's it? A shamanic practitioner, let's say.
Okay. So if you are interested in experiencing some amazing shamanic journeying and other kinds of things, then Liz is the person to go to. I've had some of her skills done on me, and it's been really quite incredible. So how would you describe your business, Liz?
Being a shamanic practitioner is about helping people to heal themselves. So I will take people on a journey and they get to actually work on themselves, but with guidance from the shamanic practitioner. So they're not alone, and you do lots of follow-up and stuff like that as well. So yeah, it's very, very, very good in that you're not just left alone, and everybody needs to know that they're capable of healing themselves. So this is a great way of being able to do that. So I also am looking at earth healing as well, because I feel that we are able to participate in helping the earth heal. And if you go on my page, you'll find that I also have a thing called Monday Munchies, where I share recipes. And the reason that that fits with shamanism is because I'm looking at using what I've got and also trying to help people save money, get healthier, all of those kinds of things. So although not every recipe is healthy, I just put that little disclaimer in there right now. There's been some really, really nice ones, but generally that's what I'm trying to do. And it's, helping people to manage their lives better as well.
Yes, very well said. Okay, so if you are interested in finding out more, as Liz said, you can check out her business page. So her business is A Shaman in Time, and I'm sure she would love it if you went and checked that out. Okay,
Yes,
so
definitely.
Liz, basically, just so I don't know if you were kind of keeping up with where I was at, but I've talked
Yep.
a little bit about uh, my background and my struggles going into starting my own businesses to start with, and then what I'm currently working on. All
Yep.
right, so basically, Liz is going to do a little bit of interviewing and chatting with me about making the leap and how I've made it and what things I think help people to do that effectively. So I'm going to let her take over and ask me some questions, and we'll see how we go. But before I get into start, I'm just going to remind people that this broadcast is going live on a number of different pages, and if you're wanting to be able to ask some questions, chat, do a bit of interaction, then please click the link that's up above, which will bring you over to My Time TV, which is the originator of the broadcast for tonight. All right, over to you, Liz.
All right. Well, I'm assuming that people will know how they can get in contact with you and how they can work with you. So,
Yes, so I've
um,
put also in the notes the link to my business, One Life to Flourish, and I have
yes.
talked a little bit about that. Yes.
Yes, so I've done some work with Marianne with the hypnotism in particular, and I find it really, really good. So, if you've never done that, don't be scared. Don't think that it's like somebody doing hypnotism in a show where they make you do really weird things, because it's not like that at all.
And it can be amazingly powerful as well in
Yeah,
ways that you just
very,
don't
very.
expect.
Yes, exactly. All right, so I think you touched on some of the beliefs that you might have that made it a struggle for you when you were moving into having your own business. Do you want to just elaborate on some of those beliefs?
Yeah, so I think the biggest one that I had starting One Life to Flourish, because of the background stuff that I had, was confidence. I really doubted myself so much because I'd had such a bad experience with businesses before. So I had to really work on building my confidence and, not hiding myself away, making sure that people knew who I was there, because you can't help someone if they don't even know that you exist. So that
That's
was
very
that was
true.
exactly. So that was the really big one. And I think tied up in that was also doubting, I suppose, my worth and my value as well. So there were issues around how I viewed myself as a worthwhile business person. Obviously, also linked back to my failure with my first, big business that I did. And then
Yeah.
as I started to get into uh, putting myself out there and offering some amazing programs and things like that, I really struggled with actually asking for money at the value that I should be asking for it. I sort of always felt like, oh no, I can't ask people to pay that for it. I'm not worth that. So it was kind of all tied in together, but they were sort of like the big things. Obviously, other things around fear and that kind of thing, but really that feeling of not having value and worth has a huge impact on you when you're trying to get your business going.
So can I just hone in on something you just said then? Because I think
Yeah.
other people will be interested, and that is the fear side of it. So what kind of fears did you have? And um, have you done anything that helps you kind of get past those?
Okay. So the fears that I had were probably about failure. Obviously, I don't like to fail. So, big fears around that. Um, I think fear of being, rejected by people as well. And just the fear of being visible. I am by nature an introvert, and the current, business world means that you actually need to put yourself out there. You need to make yourself very visible. And that was something quite fearful to me. So, they're probably the biggest ones. And there were sort of other, negative emotions and things that I had to deal with as well. And probably the two main ways I dealt with the fear in particular was actually confronting it and going, I am scared. I am feeling like people will reject me, and actually trying to change my beliefs around that in a conscious way. And that did work to some extent. But when I started to do hypnosis and particularly neuro-linguistic programming, that's where I found very quickly that those things could be released and changed and made into something far more positive, so that, I had the confidence to actually put myself out there. I had the confidence to do live videos. I had the confidence to actually turn up to different groups and talk to people and learn stuff, things that I would have, just hidden myself away from before that.
Excellent. Thank you. So were there any other things that you struggled with? And I know you're still transitioning from being an employee to being a business owner. So what are the kinds of things that you're struggling with in that kind of environment?
Yeah, so at the moment I am, sort of working partway on my business and also still having some days working as a teacher. So this is part of my deliberate plan, because if you were here at the start of the broadcast, you would know that, I made my leap into my massage business with no safety net, including money, and that put a lot of stress on me, especially, as I'm the only person earning money for me to live on. Then I need to kind of consider that. So I think being aware of how you're going to support yourself, being realistic about the amount of time it might take to actually have enough income coming in to go fully into your business, I think are really important things. So I've sort of had to really think about that side of it. I've really, really been challenged in learning about, marketing and messaging and sales, which is kind of one of those things that, I think most people, unless they're salespeople, feel a challenge actually confronting. So,
and maybe even salespeople as well.
Well, yeah, I suppose, that probably is things that some salespeople get challenged with as well. I don't just think about some that I know that have come out of sales. Yes, I would say that is part of it as well. So, and it's probably the way that we think about it that creates that sort of feeling. But yeah.
So what advice would you give to people who are thinking about starting their own business, but they've got some of those fears that you talked about, and some limiting beliefs, maybe not the same as you, but some limiting beliefs as well. So what advice can you give people?
Well, this is really where my business is focused at the moment, because of my background and everything that I've learned and everything that I've experienced. I actually focus on how people can actually go from, being an employee, not wanting to be an employee, and then having their own business. So my advice, I could give you lots, but I'll try and keep it to, a couple of bits of advice. So
why leave it at that? Give us lots of advice.
How we go. So basically, my first bit of advice is make sure that you're making your leap for the right reason. Don't do it just because you've gotten stressed out, frustrated, you're stuck in a job that feels like it's sucking the very soul out of you. Don't decide to start a business just because that's how you're feeling about your job. Because you can change to being a different kind of employee. You don't have to be locked into that.
Yeah,
Make sure
I
that
agree with that.
So make sure that what you are planning to do as a business, even if it's still a fairly vague idea, make sure it's something that you're going to be passionate about. You need to have that passion to start with, because you have a lot of things that you have to confront and change and do starting a business. And if you don't have the passion there, then it's just going to become another soul-sucking experience, basically. So that would be my absolute top piece of advice. Make sure that you have found something that is going to be your passion, that feels like it's going to fill your soul, not drain your soul. All right. Otherwise, why bother doing it? Being a business
that's
owner
exactly right.
can be an amazing thing, but it can also be full of lots of challenges that you have to get over. So
Yes, I think I've seen a lot of things happening during the COVID-19 time with business owners, and it seems that those who don't have a passion, that they're just doing something because they want to make money, or to make a living or whatever, they don't have the passion. They're the ones that seem more likely to fall by the wayside. So I think it's really, really important to have passion.
yeah, it definitely is. So on to my next big piece of advice. So for me, the thing that's made the difference this time between my previous experience was actually seeking out people who could coach and mentor me and actually support me through it. So I think that's probably one reason why I've become passionate about doing a similar kind of thing, because if you find the coach or coaches, and I've had, I think, 4 amazing coaches that have helped me along the journey. If you can find those kinds of people that you connect with, that give you great value for what you're paying them for and give you ongoing support, then there is absolutely nothing more valuable than that, in all honesty. And I'll give a call out to a couple of my coaches at this point. So I've got Jodie Nevid, an absolutely amazing business coach, Adair Palmer, who has been fabulous at getting me up and running on social media. And now just thinking what the third one will be. We might leave it at Jodie and Adair for the time being, but there have been a few others that have helped me along the way as well. So find someone who can really support you. And then
So
probably
can I
to add
just
on.
I was just going to jump in there and say, how did you find those people? Just to give everyone who's watching an idea of where they can go to find, the help that they need.
So this probably connects to the next bit of advice I was going to give, which was to
preempting.
actually yes, because it connects up. So try and find some communities of like-minded people. I joined a few different communities, and it's basically there that I found my coaches as well. But also be open to things popping up on Facebook as well. So basically I found Jodie Nevid by answering I think it was like a survey or a quiz or something like that on Facebook, which then got me into a phone call with her partner Amy, as in her business partner. And then from there, through a little bit of a process, I ended up joining her business builder program. And then as part of that, I started to join into groups of other women building businesses. And it was there that I found Adair. So, she's been amazing in supporting me. and I wouldn't be here making this video without her support. So there's different ways that you can do it, but you need to find someone that feels right and, you know, talks your language, understands your pain, and, you know, connect with them and see how you go. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, a connection is definitely a good thing if you're looking for a mentor or a coach. You don't want to just go, oh, yes, I'll pick that one and stick with them through thick and thin, regardless of whether you get on or not. I think you really have to get on with somebody and have that understanding between you.
Yeah, and I'd also say if they're a good and genuine coach, they would hopefully say, you know, this isn't working. We probably need to not continue if things aren't working out well. So there should be that side of it as well. That's me speaking as a coach. That, you know, if you feel that a particular situation or person isn't going to be helped, then it's, you know, no point in taking their money, taking their time if you can't actually help them. So
yeah. That's very good. Very, very good advice. And it's also good advice for people out there who are coaches and mentors as well. Don't just think about, you know, continuing because that's where you started. If it's not working, it's better off. You're better off to stop it, you know, cut it off before it goes dead. And
yeah, exactly.
let me not.
Better for everybody.
Let me not go any further down that track.
Could be getting a bit messy.
Any other pieces of advice for people?
I think you need to actually put a bit of time into making sure that you've planned things and you've prepared things. So this is where I started the broadcast talking about don't take a leap without a parachute. You need to have some idea of where you're going. I mean, this is not to say that you get yourself stuck in like procrastination hell and try and be as perfect as you can be. This might lead into the, you know, to the next thing I'm going to talk about, but you still need to make sure that you've actually thought through how it's going to work and make sure that it is going to actually work.
Yeah, definitely. Right. So any other bits?
Well,
you've got the floor.
Have I? Okay.
Yes.
I think that's probably it. Thank you.
Yes, isn't it a different situation when you're being interviewed, not the other way around?
Yes.
Yeah, I just say to everyone, I was thinking about this before and I thought, this means I've got the power. And then I suddenly realised, no, I don't, because Marianne can turn me off. So
that's right. I am in control still.
All right. So the next one is about beliefs. And what do you think maybe are the top 3 beliefs that you think people need to develop to make sure that they're successful as a business owner or an entrepreneur, or, you know, however you like to term it?
Yeah. So I thought about the beliefs that I've had to try and work on and that have seemed to have been the most valuable to me. So the first one is basically thinking about it as anything that you're dreaming about is possible so long as you believe in yourself. So develop that belief in yourself, then you can dream as big as you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And don't put limits on yourself in that way. So kind of broaden yourself out so you're not, you know, squashed into that little hole. So that would be my first and big one. You know, have your self-belief and dream big and go for it. The next one I've kind of touched on a little bit with some of the stuff that I've said before, and this is, it does not have to be perfect. You just need to get it done. So particularly for a number of people that I've met starting their business, we seem to have problems with perfection. And this can also get you stuck in procrastination as well. If you want to find out more about that, I had a procrastination series over on One Life to Flourish. You can check that out.
I can verify that she's a perfectionist.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's good to have people to back you up. So yes, I am a perfectionist, but I've also realised that I can't have things to an absolute perfect level. I'm not saying have things that are crap, because that would not be acceptable to me either. But you can reach a level of acceptable and really good quality in whatever you're producing, so that you're offering great value to people. But if you wait until it's perfect, you're never going to be actually putting it out there and helping people in any way. And part of the process of having a business is actually going through and modifying and refining and adding things in. And I think, speaking from the perspective of being a coach, you also need to change things for each person. Everyone's a different individual. So you can never have something that's perfect for every single person before you start. You need to develop it as you get to know that person, so that it fits with their circumstances really well.
So
all right.
Can I just say on that point, as a person who's looking at starting a business and is at the very beginning stages, I do have this thought in my head that, I need to do everything perfectly, and I need not to be judged by people. And, if you do it perfectly, you won't be judged. That's kind of, the way I think. So it is definitely something.
At all, are you?
No, I'm not, but I still got that happening. So, it's like it's not just people who are perfectionists, or Virgos, I should say, who do that. It's a lot of people. So, I think that's a really good one, is to actually think that you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be really good.
Well, I mean, if you've learnt stuff and you know your stuff, and the fact is that if you are at a point where you're passionate about something and you're putting it out there for people, then you do know your stuff, and anything that you don't know, well, you can find out. But what does perfection look like? That's kind of the thing. So that could be a never-ending conversation.
It could be too.
So I think reach that quality that you're happy with. But sometimes trying to be perfect is actually a procrastination technique to stop you moving forward. So it goes back to your beliefs as well. So that's why I'm also saying that as one of the beliefs that you need as a business owner, or someone who's wanting to actually go even further than that and be an entrepreneur. You really need to adopt that idea of get in and do it, and it will develop as you're doing it, rather than stop yourself to get it perfect. Otherwise, you could be waiting 10 years to get anywhere with it.
Yes.
All right. So then my final belief is probably around the fact that you are not an island. You do need people to help you. And if you surround yourself with the right kinds of people at the right time, then that's going to support you in what you're doing, and it will help you to be part of, sort of like a connected community. So I really think that business should be about being connective and supportive, not about like dog eat dog. That's not the way that I think business should run. So I am now friends with a number of amazing businesswomen, some of whom I've been interviewing on the program. And, we support each other. If there's something that someone else can help someone with, then we try and send people their way. We'll promote each other's different things. That's part of being supportive and surrounding yourself with the right kinds of people. There's that saying that you basically become like the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So think about who you're spending the most time with. Are they going to help you or hinder you, build you up or pull you down?
Yeah. And kind of along those lines, there's a lot of work being done at the moment around small business and mental health as well through the government and the Small Business Ombudsman and those kinds of things. And I think that those having networks and support actually helps with all of those kinds of mental health issues as well. So I think it's really, really important. And, just a shout out, if you do think that you've got some issues with that, go check out the Small Business Ombudsman's website. She has some fantastic stuff on there. She's such a good advocate for small businesses. Sorry, that comes from my outside work.
Just checking in. So is that like an Australian small business ombudsman or a South Australian small?
No, an Australian one. Yeah, ombudsman. Yes, it's the Australian one. Of course, there's also state support as well. So I don't know whether all your watchers or listeners or whatever are South Australian, or whether you're across Australia. Yeah, so that's why I kind of mentioned the Australian Small Business Ombudsman. So check out her website. She often has really great stuff on there that's helpful for small businesses as well.
Okay, good tip. Thank you.
No problem.
All right. Okay, so we're basically at an end with what we're talking about tonight. I'm just going to put in a little bit of a plug at the moment. You will have probably seen my little ticker going across the bottom there. On July 4th, on Saturday morning, I'm having a free Making the Leap webinar, which is all about giving people who are thinking about business owners some, 3 main areas that I look at that will help them to make the leap a little bit more easily. So this all goes back to my idea that you really need to have some planning in place. So I have put into the chat a link to the webinar. So please come along and join me. There's some really useful tips. It's a really interactive kind of webinar where anyone who attends should get a lot of good information, a lot of some sort of skills and that kind of thing coming into it. So I'm inviting everyone to come along to that and to join me.
Well, that sounds fantastic, Marianne. I think everybody should put their name down for it and join up, because, how often do you get something that's free that can help you?
Well, that's right. So, and it's, I've set it up so that it is aimed at being very useful, very practical. So hopefully those people who attend will find that that is the case, and they'll get lots of useful things that will help them to start along their journey. Okay, so I think that's probably all we need to say for tonight. So thank you for joining me, Liz. It has been great to have a chat, even though I've been the one under the spotlight tonight.
And can I just say thank you for asking me to come on and do the interviewing, because the more practice I get at doing things like this, the better off it will be for me in the future as well. So thank you for the opportunity, and it was quite enjoyable. Thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. Thank you. All right. And I'll put in a little bit of a plug for this Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Adelaide time. I am interviewing the amazing Zviko, who some of you watching will know. Her story is really quite amazing, having come from Africa, I think about 5 years ago or so. And she has got an incredible story. So I'm looking forward to interviewing her, and hopefully you can join me and find out some great information from her. All right. So remember, knowledge and planning, preparation are all key when you're making the leap. So good night for now. Bye.
Bye.